All right. Happy time zones, everybody. Scanlan, GG on getting first. And Todd, GG on getting that bamboo. And for doubling your money on that 2 out of 3. Hope you're doing well. So Todd, it sounds like there's multiple endings to your game, Citizen Sleeper. I think that's what it seemed like. Since it seems like there's different paths that you could take and different characters that you can interact with. But yeah, there seemed to be like a ton of reading in yours. So it would definitely be something that I would need a lot of water for, I think, if I was going to take that one on. Yep, so you'll be doing it again next week. Excellent. It's so much, but it's super interesting. Yeah. Like, especially when you have characters that you care about. Like, you get really invested in them, and then, you know, stuff goes the way that it did in this playthrough. That was just... It makes you want to kind of rectify it almost. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah. And Scanlan, I hope that Mass Effect 2 is treating you well. I've watched... So I'll say that I've been in people's streams, you know, like Merkel and Todd, who have been playing Mass Effect. I don't know. It's not something that has really kind of grabbed my interest. Yeah, you had that heartbreaking moment, yeah. And you needed to fix it. Yeah, that was... Yeah, exactly. You know, when kids are involved in the story and stuff like that, just maybe it's just because I'm a dad, but it gets to me. So, you know, there's some people who are just like, yeah, whatever, kids. But I don't know. For me, it's I take it personally, kind of. I don't know. But yeah, so I figured that I would get a little bit more time in this. It looks like I'm in Act 2. I'm going to assume that there are 3 acts, but I don't know. And I'll find out. I did have something else lined up just in case. But we'll see. Maybe... Like, I don't want to start something new if it seems like I'll be knocking this one out pretty quickly. But... You're not a dad and it hits you. The characters are so well written and the interaction with Mina was amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's different... There are certain things where I'm able to kind of separate myself from it a little bit, or just like, it's just a game. But I mean, there are some things that I have a hard time doing that with. And things going sideways for kids just is one of those things. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue this on. I will say My favorite character so far now is the Minotaur, Asterion. Such a good, so well written. I like the voice actor too for that. He did an outstanding job. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Such a hopeless romantic, right? Alright, let's go ahead and go over there. Now I can bring up this audio a little bit for me. We'll go ahead and hit continue. Okay, so this says that I should go confront Medusa or go to Aphrodite's party. I had just talked to Persephone, I think, is the last thing. I'd gone and talked to Apollo after to see if he was okay after Apollo's after Persephone and Apollo kind of had their fight in song. I'm trying to remember if I'm gonna go talk to Freddy. Just ease into it today. Plus Freddy's awesome.
Hey, so what's the news, Miss Muse?
Miss Muse?
Well, does a muse have a proper form of address? I just want to hear what exciting adventures you've been having. Everything else okay, though? Do we know who the killer is yet?
Not just yet, no.
Okay, well, let me know if there's anything I can do. If I have to hustle to become your high priestess, well, so be it.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about this.
What are Kaz and Brian up to? You didn't tell them anything, did you?
Oh, I told them you came home, that you're okay, but that you're having a moment. They send their love.
Should we tell them, do you think?
What for? They have their own problems. Plus, Brian can't keep a secret to save his life, and Kaz is officially homeless.
Is he still crashing on Brian's couch?
Grace, you do know that Brian doesn't have a couch, right? Just some giant beanbag things?
Then where is Kaz
Yeah, it's cute. They'll tell us when they're ready. But right now, it's best just to not mix them up in this.
I should really apologize about the band. This kind of puts a dent in your plans, doesn't it?
You're right, Grace. How dare you sabotage my dreams? I am so mad I could spit.
You know what I mean.
Patooey.
Nobody could have seen this coming, sure, but it's always been something with me.
Well, as I see it, there are two ways this goes down. One, neither of us gets back to the band. It was just a thing we did for a while before I founded a cult in your name. Or two, we get back to it and the band now has the Muse as its lead singer. Edge of Elysium becomes the coolest and most appropriate band name ever.
Ugh, I still really hate that name.
Look, Grace, you can't be the source of all the drama and name the band, okay? That's the rule.
You know what I find weird? That the idols have managed to remain completely secret all these years. Sure, they have magic and whatnot, but in all this time, nobody's found them out? Athena is that good?
Who says nobody has found them out? The way I see it, it's like UFOs.
Okay, I have to hear this.
Okay, so you could have real evidence that UFOs exist and that governments have covered it up and people still wouldn't believe it. Why? Because they'd get laughed at if they admitted it. Imagine the headline, Greek gods exist and are living among us. What website would even run that?
Weird conspiracy ones. Yeah, you're right.
Speaking of, whatever happened to all those, UFOs and stuff on the East Coast that everybody was posting about on TikTok. I haven't followed up with it since I haven't gone on TikTok since it got taken down. The drones. The quote-unquote drones. No clue, it just all went away. Yeah, there was footage of different types of things. I think the last thing I remember seeing was something about balls of light shooting down drones and other drones crashing and something, I don't know. GG on that. Noms, 8 of those noms. Excellent. What do you know about the gods?
Exactly how much do you know about the Greek gods, Freddy?
I know my Greek mythology, but what I've read clearly doesn't line up with who they are today. Or who they ever were, maybe.
Still might be useful. There's gotta be some truth to those stories, right?
Maybe? Who do you want to hear about?
So many rumors. One of them was Disney scouting locations for a new theme park. What? Okay, I didn't hear that one. That one seemed ridiculous. There were quite a few, which I'm not gonna spend time spreading rumors. Bushcat, hey. Happy time zone. I hope you're doing well. But yeah. One of the rumors, made it sound like it was aliens or whatnot. I think people were saying plasmoids was the term getting thrown around. And then there was another one that, something military drones, something. I'm not going to get into it, otherwise I feel like I'll have people in black sunglasses and stuff knocking on my door. But yeah, happy Sunday. Hope your Sunday's going well. Let's ask about Calliope. I think that would be a good one to kind of get more information about. Hopefully, maybe.
Do you know anything about the Muses? Or Calliope in particular?
Yeah, for starters, there were supposed to be 9, though I guess there are some sources that said there were only 4, maybe 3. Each of the muses had her specialty. Did you know that Calliope is supposed to be the muse of epic poetry? She inspired the Odyssey.
Wow, I don't even like poetry.
Yeah, it was said her singing voice was unmatched. So they got that part right, at least.
Did she also lead the ancient Greeks in giant choreographed dance numbers?
No, but she once turned a bunch of snobby princesses into magpies, so there's that.
Magpies. Bushcat. Wait, let's see if I can do this. Let's unlock that. Bushcat. Okay. It's been a good day so far. How are we? I'm congested, if you can't tell. Pretty sure you can. And I'm sorry. I do have water and Baja Blast over here. But yeah, otherwise, not too bad. Wife and kiddo went out for the afternoon, so I get to be here. Hydrate. I will hydrate because I'm going to hydrate because I want to, not because you're telling me to. Pulled pork mac and cheese. You did. Thank you. Pulled pork mac and cheese. House to myself, party time. I mean, this is probably the extent that I party. I could probably take my pants off or something. I don't know. We're just gonna keep going. Let's ask about the other idols. We'll get to the individuals in a second. Baja Blast. Yep. I had a 12 pack of Baja Blast Zero that I've been waiting to crack into, and I finally threw a few of those into the fridge last night. So Baja Blast, so good. Let's ask about the idols.
Just how many of these gods are there? From what I've heard, lots of idols live around here.
Well, there are tons of minor gods in Greek mythology, hundreds even, depending on how you define them. Oddly, there's never any mention of the word idols in relation to them. Maybe it's like how people worshipped idols?
I sort of assumed it was related to the eidolon.
Which is a Greek word, but I think it means ghost. An image of someone after they die.
Makes sense.
Me, I'm more amazed at all the big names missing. Not just Zeus and Hades, most of the Olympians seem to be gone. Makes you think about what's been lost, but also what might still be out there.
Mm-hmm.
You think there might be other gods out there?
Well, there are all those gods the idols say wandered off. We don't know they're dead for sure, right? They could be living it up in Australia. Who would know?
Space Monkey's a
Then
god.
there are all the other mythologies, hundreds of cultures, each with
I
their
knew
own
it.
pantheon. So what's so special about the Greeks? That only their gods are real, right? All those other pantheons could be living in secrecy, just like the idols. And that means they're hidden from each other, too. Oh, they could be everywhere and no one would know.
It's like a whole other secret side to the world.
Yeah, that's cool, right? I hope I get to meet Ganesha one day. Or maybe Lakshmi?
Alright, let's ask about Apollo.
What about Apollo?
Okay, so the prophecy stuff checks out. Apollo was god of the sun and light, but also kind of enlightenment in general. He's always talked about as this beautiful and cultured god involved with the arts and the muses, kind of a Renaissance man before the Renaissance.
He's clearly had a rough time since those days.
Well, he was also a giant horn dog, Grace. I can list off like a dozen men and women Apollo has had as lovers, and there's probably more.
Weren't they all like that, though?
I mean, Apollo's no Zeus. He never assaulted anyone as a swan. And no, they aren't all like that. Our sun god had a reputation.
Okay, wait, what? A swan? Did Zeus turn himself into a swan? And what? Was he like a good-looking swan? Was there some fine-looking swan that I'll just need to look that one up later, I think. That's news to me. Actually, yes. Good God. Oh my God. All right. Well, good. I'm gonna save Athena for last just because.
Tell me what you know about Persephone.
Honestly, she's the least like her stories. Usually, she's either a victim or just the wife of Hades, or both.
And that's it? She was kidnapped by Hades, end of story?
Pretty much. Her mother was so angry, she created winter. But otherwise, Persephone was just your average sweet and virginal fertility goddess.
You're right, that doesn't sound like her at all.
Must be hard to be defined by this one thing that happened to you thousands of years ago. I'd be pissed if everyone thought my story ended there.
Well, she is pretty pissed. That much is true.
Very true. Okay. So I looked up Pan's voice actor last night, and I did not even connect. It didn't connect with me that he is Cyborg from Teen Titans Go, or Teen Titans, from The Walking Dead. So I didn't watch The Walking Dead, but I have been watching some Teen Titans because my daughter's been watching it. Plus, also Teen Titans is just really good. So that's interesting to me.
You said Pan was some kind of lust god, right?
Yeah, kind of. Pan's a god of the wild, and I guess that translates into a sort of lustfulness and earthiness, humping nymphs in the forest sort of thing.
And you don't like him.
Honestly, he's exactly what I'd expect him to be. All the stories say he's a lech and a beast. The Christians equated him with the devil. Weirdly, he's also the only god who's supposed to have died, though it's never really clear how or why. Anyhow, there's a great statue depicting Pan having sex with a goat. Next time you see him, you gotta ask him about it.
Goats, swans. I am afraid to ask what else.
What about Athena? Is she really supposed to be the goddess of wisdom?
Sure, but mostly that's meant
Bulls.
as tactical knowledge. Athena wasn't all sweetness and light. She was a warrior goddess. She was also the goddess of heroes. There are loads of stories where Athena helps guys like Odysseus or Jason or Perseus.
No female heroes back in those days?
Yeah, guess not. Women were the weaker sex, which maybe is why Athena was portrayed as being vindictive. She cursed Medusa, one of her own priestesses. She turned people into spiders, struck them blind, started the Trojan War. It's the whole thing.
Not being as wise as advertised is on brand for her then.
Greek gods are wild. Yeah. It's humorous to me that my daughter has been reading books about Greek mythology, and some of the things I knew, that they were, but the way, basically like the way that they've been kind of modified a little bit, the stories, to make them kid friendly. All right, enough about mythology.
I wonder how much of those stories are true.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm giving you the quick version. There are reams of textbooks out there covering all this, but even they rarely agree with each other.
Really? Nothing definitive?
Ancient Greece was 3,000 years ago, Grace. Not much information survived all that time, if it was even valid to begin with.
No more questions. Probably better though. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's enough questions for now.
You sure? I can talk all day. You know I can.
I'll check back with you soon, Freddy. Time for more mystery solving.
To the mystery machine. 1 second, BRB. I just need to take care of something. Doesn't Odin ride a horse? Is that horse supposed to be his grandchild? I don't know. The most I know about Odin is from Final Fantasy, where he rides a horse. All right. Let's go to Aphrodite's party. Hey, look, Apollo's here.
Fancy party? Check. Bunch of strangers? Check. Grace totally not dressed for the occasion? Check. Now, if only I knew what I was supposed to be doing here.
Grace? You're here.
Yeah, I'm invited, aren't I?
So are your
I'm
abs.
just surprised you even knew it was happening.
Persephone said I should come to this. Whatever this is.
Persephone didn't tell you? Why am I not surprised?
Loki turned himself into a female horse and got busy. Had a kid. A horse with 6 legs. Yep. And Odin claimed it as his steed. Wow. Wow. Also, how come Apollo's shirts don't have any buttons? I guess if I had abs like that, I would also show them off every once in a while. Space Monkey, the god is here! You don't think he's changed clothes yet? Space Monkey, we just learned that Greek gods live in Australia. Potentially, maybe. So we finally seen through your guys and determined that you in fact are a Greek god. Or idol. Who needs buttons when the shirt is gonna just come off anyway? Fair point. Meh, it wasn't a secret. You didn't tell me either.
I came to see you, Apollo, and I don't recall you mentioning it. Persephone said it could help.
You don't have any of Calliope's memories, right? No deja vu recollections that aren't your own?
No. Should I have?
Not right away. For a while, you won't remember anything. We call it the veil. In time, the veil will start to lift, slowly at first, but eventually you'll remember almost everything Calliope did.
So I imagine that means that Grace is going to remember getting busy with Apollo.
This could have been one of those. She was what,
Oh my
1,000
gosh.
years old?
More than that.
Katria.
Much more.
Then what happens to me in my piddly 20-something years? It can't be good.
Eventually, it's like a flood. It becomes difficult to separate what's you and what's them, and all who came before them.
Katri, thank you so much for the biddies. Thank you. And how are you doing? I hope that you're doing well. I hope the plucky squire went well. I tried not to watch too much. I did have you on downstairs while I was getting coffee and having breakfast. And my daughter had questions, and you are very welcome. Thank you for being here. And my daughter had some questions about it, which I will answer in due time once I learn more. But I guess one thing is the Plucky Squire like an art game in that the setting's an art table? It seems like there's art stuff on it. Is there a lot of interaction with the stuff on the desk, or is it mainly about what's within the story? And 1 second, I need to just in case anybody wants to pay their daily tax, Merkle is live right now. I'm gonna get my tax, or I'm gonna pay my tax. There we go. And oh snap! Yep, you get to work. Thank you for being here, Space Monkey. So yeah, you can interact with the items on the table and very artsy related. Okay. Because that was something that my daughter had asked, and I was yeah, Todd, get out of here. You got a job to do. Yeah, that was something that my daughter picked up on, I guess, and I hadn't really noticed. Also the drawings inside the book as well. Right. Oh my god. Wow. Congrats, Todd. Just so many panda coins. It's wild. 3.2 million. It's cray.
You're saying I won't be me. I won't be Grace. Will I start calling myself Calliope?
Maybe. Eventually, most of us do, but most of us were chosen and prepared.
And I didn't choose this.
I understand. Take some time to let it sink in. If you like, we can talk about it later.
What does this have to do with the party?
Aphrodite hasn't been the same since we came to the New World. She has horrific memories of what she endured during the war. Passing on her Eidolon is a way to forget, for a while. That's what this party is for.
Wait, what?
When you say she's gonna pass on her Eidolon, you mean...
She's going to die, yes, and pass her soul on to a chosen successor.
In front of everyone?
We're here to help, Grace. To make it easier for Aphrodite to do what she feels she must. We're here to say goodbye. At least for a while.
Boom. There we go. All right. Aphrodite's done this before.
This isn't the first time Aphrodite's done this. She's held this kind of gathering before, right?
This is her 4th, I think, perhaps 5th.
Oof.
So every time the veil, whatever you call it, when it starts to lift...
Aphrodite's memories return, and eventually it is too much. We gather to pay our respects and to honor the past, while she still remembers it.
Man.
Do you support what Aphrodite is doing here?
It's not my choice to make, Grace.
Yeah, but you must have an opinion.
Eventually you will remember what we experienced during the war, and eventually you will remember that what Aphrodite experienced was far worse. If this is the mercy she requires, I will not tell her she should not take it.
Yeah.
Wait. Persephone said Calliope always refused to come to these parties.
She refused on principle. Everything Calliope did was on principle. She believed Aphrodite was indulging her sadness, wallowing in it. She thought Aphrodite should try harder. It was a point of contention between them. Aphrodite will be grateful you're here. Trust me.
Whoa. GG, Bushcat. I don't like it, but I get it. So I think I'll go with this one.
Okay, so what did Aphrodite want Calliope to do? What did she want me to do?
Well, knowing Aphrodite, she'll want you to make a production of it all. She's not here just yet. Until she arrives, I suggest mingling.
Oh, that's like the worst.
Mingling.
Yeah, mingling. Talk to Eros. Or we can talk more if you like. Just try to relax, Grace.
Sure, yeah. Relax. That's what this party is for, right?
Convincing laugh. Sorry to lead you guys astray. For your own benefit, even, Bushcat. Ugh. How could you? How could you? How could I? I could for 8,400. We just talked to Apollo. I guess let's talk to Eros.
Grace.
Hey, Eros. Nice to... Oh. Okay.
Aphrodite will be so happy you're here. It means so much, you have no idea.
Are you okay? You seem a bit...
Every time she does this, I don't know how to handle it. I almost want to run upstairs and demand she stop. Remind her that this never works. Sorry, I shouldn't unload on you. It's been a bad week.
I mean, I asked.
No, it's okay. It sounds like a bad situation.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't know much about it, would you? I take care of Aphrodite. Ever since we came to the New World, I'm with her. Every single day. I'm there for the nightmares, the panic attacks, the days she doesn't even remember the war's over. And now I'm arranging her gathering again, so she can die again. And I'll watch it all again.
Bushcat, easy. All you need to do is go sing in a gymnasium, have Calliope show up, have her die in front of you, get whisked away through a magic door, and that'll at least get the ball rolling. Yeah, maybe you'll pass. I mean, it could be worth it. Maybe. That was one of the huggiest of that was one of the huggiest hugs I've seen. Kind of don't want to ask this because I have an idea. So let's go this way.
Does Aphrodite really need to...
To die? I've asked that so many times. She's tried magic, drugs, psychotherapy, meditation, everything we could possibly think of. For a while, she'll deny anything's wrong. It all seems fine, and I start to hope. Maybe this time will be different. Then the nightmares begin, and the memories return. More with each passing day until... I hate it, but I see her agony. I can't deny her this.
I don't know if I could wear a shirt like Eros, though. I mean, it looks good on him, but I just don't know if it would. I don't think it would suit me. Oh, they're making me just... Okay, fine.
Is it okay if I ask what happened? I don't mean to pry, but I'm new. I really don't know.
I know, but it happened to Aphrodite, not me. It's not my story to tell.
That's fair. It's really not my business.
No, it is. I mean, it's not, but she does want you here. So you need to know. What happened is that Brother Ares happened. He missed out on the first world-spanning war, you see, so he was damned if he'd miss out on the next one. He found some jackbooted mortals, so full of themselves and their supremacy, and he told them about the idols. Then they came for us. Took us completely by surprise. Some they killed, but Aphrodite, her they captured.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Ailing, how are you doing? Weekend is almost over. I mean, well, actually, is it? It is 3:44 for me. But yeah, it's not too bad. I'm recovering-ish, from being sick. But yeah, otherwise, it's not too bad. Hey, and yeah, weekend is almost over. Yeah, because you're in the future. You're a wizard. You're a wizard or a witch. The future. Tell me the winning lotto numbers. And thank you. Yeah. I'm still a little congested, but otherwise I'm feeling better, and I'll finally be able to go back into work. Imagine, don't even know what ticket you'd buy. I mean, I didn't go into work last week, but I was able to work from home when I could. The joys of working in IT. I can always remote in. So, but I did take a couple days because I really needed it. I'm glad I have a work from home option. Yeah. I'm fortunate in my position to be able to do that. So yeah, I'm grateful that I'm able to do it. Double-edged sword. And I don't always feel like I can disconnect. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, hope that the weekend for the rest of it that you do have is treating you well. Did Aphrodite escape?
Maybe I just don't understand, but isn't this like suicide?
Some of the idols have committed suicide. They let themselves die without passing on their eidolon.
That can happen.
What happens?
What you'd expect.
Hmm.
They're gone. Forever. Mother says she can't do that. She won't. Not until she sees Hephaestus again, I suspect. Not that what's happening here is anything casual. She still has to die for a while.
All we can do is try. Yeah. Your weekend is good over there? You're actually learning to use OBS at the moment. Nice. It's tricky. It can be. I remember the very, very, very first time, a few years back, even before I really started streaming, I tried to play with OBS and it made 0 sense to me. But thankfully, you have a lot of resources at your disposal. I'm sure that everybody's able and willing, myself included, if you have questions, to help you out if you need. So, but yeah, I hope that you figured that out. And I will say this: you're super lucky to have so much knowledge available and so many kind people. Yeah, I will say, just because a lot of people use OBS, that doesn't mean that that's what you need to use. There are other solutions. Prism is one. Streamlabs is one. OBS is the most popular. But definitely, if there's something that is going to be easier for you to use to get used to everything, definitely by all means do it. Don't pressure yourself or feel pressured to use OBS just because everybody else does. And Lupe, hey, how are you doing? Happy time zone to you. But yeah. Great advice? It's advice. Is it great? It's just advice. But, it's just something to take into consideration. Doing well. It's good. I'm glad to hear that. Me, I'm doing all right. It's a chill Sunday with a chill game and chill chat and not as chill water, but there we go. And thank you for the hydrate. And yeah, GG on the noms. Nom 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 nom. I remember as a kid I used to eat, like bamboo shoots in our dinner when my mom would make Chinese. Or I guess whenever we ordered Chinese food. But I think mostly when she made it, because we didn't eat out a lot. Anyways,
Aphrodite was captured, but she's here now, so she must have escaped.
She didn't. Do you know the name Hephaestus?
Oh, wasn't he a smith of some kind? Giant hammer, lived in a mountain?
Some of that is mortal fancy, but yes. He was Aphrodite's husband, and he adored her beyond reason. When he found out the mortals were torturing her, he went mad. He was determined to save her.
Wait, they tortured her?
Nothing extreme, I'm told. They were too frightened, but they were also determined to wring every last secret out of her. So, who knows how long that fear would have lasted. Thus, Hephaestus made a deal.
With the, jackbooted guys.
No, with their enemies. That's what saved her.
Okay, yeah, I will. 7 days. No! I know how this ends. Okay, yeah, I'll check it in a little bit.
Then this deal is how Aphrodite survived.
It's how we all survived. It's what brought us to the new world. Hephaestus saved us all. We never saw him again. That was the deal. He would leave, make their precious weapons, and never look back. Aphrodite never even got to say goodbye. It's funny, because Aphrodite didn't even like Hephaestus when they were married. She seemed to resent every minute they were together. But now he's all she can think about.
What is my part in all of this? I'll help if I can.
Aphrodite loves drama. She always has. She wants us here to remember, to celebrate our history. She'll ask you to use your power as part of the celebration. Could you use it to inspire her?
I can't force anyone to do anything they don't want to, Eros.
That's not what I'm asking. I believe that deep down, she doesn't want to do this any longer. She must see it isn't working. She just needs the strength to try. Or I hope that's all she needs.
You're gonna go lurking and watch a few how-tos. Excellent. Yeah, good luck with that. Definitely hope that you find some information that just kind of clicks. Because yeah, it definitely can be tricky, but definitely good luck with that. And thank you so much for the lurk. And yeah, I'll see you around. If not later today, then absolutely some other time, I'm sure. So yeah, it isn't up to me, kind of like I said. But that doesn't mean that I can't use my powers to I can use my powers, and if Aphrodite still believes that this is the way, that is, it's still her making the decision, just I'm having her lock that in with song and dance. So yeah, I'll do my best.
I'll try, if you think it'll do some good.
I don't know if it will. I just find it hard to believe it could get any worse.
Famous last words.
Tell me about it. Do whatever you think is right, Grace. And thank you.
Okay. Let's talk to Apollo.
I know all these people, Grace. For as long as I can remember, I've known them. Yet sometimes I feel like I don't know any of them at all. Or they me.
I spoke to Eros. He's pretty broken up over all this.
Oh, poor Eros. Each new successor, his hopes rise up once more. And then he watches the new Aphrodite crumble, piece by piece, only to start all over again. It's so different from the olden days. Once he was the eternal disaster, and Aphrodite kept constant vigil over him.
Maybe he feels like he owes her.
I think he's followed her into a dark void, and somewhere deep down, believes he deserves no better.
You don't enjoy these family gatherings, do you?
Are they family gatherings? Like the sort mortals have?
You call each other sister and brother and mother.
Well, yes, but
And you've been together like 100 times longer than I lived with my family. All you're missing is a drunk uncle everyone has to apologize for.
that would be Pan. But yes, I feel very much out of place.
Yeah. Let's see.
Why is that exactly? Wouldn't you feel more like you belonged after 1,000 years together?
Is your assumption that all those centuries bring great wisdom?
Don't they?
We get older. We have more to forget. We hold grudges longer, but wiser. No. Not so far.
I should get back out there.
And speaking of getting back out there, it looks like ads are going to start in a few seconds, so we'll go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back after the ads. Alright, welcome back. Thank everybody for sticking through ads. And here we go. I guess we can talk to Apollo more. Wait, didn't I just talk to Apollo? Let's wait for Aphrodite. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you, Katri.
My family. Having you all here, gathered once again to see me off, it moves me. More than I can say. My loves, my darlings, my dearest friends. And you. Oh, my dear sweet thing. I dare not hope that you, with all your troubles, might sing me to my sleep. Yet here you are. Yet here she is. Huh.
It's lovely to meet you, Aphrodite. Properly, this time.
Ah, yes. Poor Calliope. Such a loss to us all. I shall miss her dearly. To have come so far, only... No, it doesn't bear thinking about. It's too much.
Is this Grace, my lady? The new muse?
Oh, what manners I have. Grace, Grace, meet the lovely mortal woman who shall tonight become the new me.
Hi, my name's Venus, and yes, it really is Venus. Nice to meet you, Grace.
Yeah, hi. Nice to meet you.
We'll both be new at this, huh? Maybe we could get together and compare notes if you,
Survived my trial.
Yeah, Lady Aphrodite told me. I shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry.
There will be so much time for you lovelies to speak later. Now, we must prepare for my departure.
Are you sure we can't talk first? I really need your help, Aphrodite.
I know you do, my dear. I wish I could be there for you, but I'm afraid my time is up. But since you've shown such kindness in coming, I will ask Eros to make himself available to you afterwards. There's nothing I know that he does not. He is my son, my truest friend, my longest love.
Won't he be a little distracted?
Eros has been through this before, Grace. He knows what must be done.
I have to admit, it's not clear what my part in all this is supposed to be.
How could it be? You've barely just arrived, darling girl. How did you even find out about it?
That would be Persephone's doing.
Apollo! Oh, you've come after all.
You look remarkably well, cousin.
I've had a great deal of time to prepare. I assure you that would not be the case. As for you, Grace, have you gathered the true purpose of tonight's gathering?
On the surface of it, it seems like it's this. But I guess it's better to say this one because it has my little thing there. But two isn't supposed to remember something Aphrodite, something. Oh, I don't remember, so I'm going to pick to remember.
If I had to guess, it's to remember. One last time before all your memories go away.
Each time the veil lifts, it leaves behind a little less. For me, old Olympus is long forgotten. The glory of Rome, a distant dream. I hope that one day the veil will lift, and what happened during the war will
GG,
also
Space Monkey.
slip into oblivion.
But it hasn't.
Thus, for now we honor the memory of what was, lest tomorrow it be gone forever. Go, enjoy the gathering, Grace. Tell me when you're ready to begin.
Let's talk to the new person.
I want to apologize again, Grace. I really messed up. It looks like I'll be doing that a lot. Lady Aphrodite said I'm ready, but I don't know.
Having second thoughts? If so, now's probably the time to mention it.
I would never do that to Lady Aphrodite. I'm just nervous.
That's understandable.
If I can ask, what does it feel like after it happens? Do you feel different?
I'm not sure. It happened so fast, I didn't know what to think. Calliope died, and then all this happened.
You didn't remember anything? About her? Who she was? She was just gone?
Yeah. Isn't that the point of all this?
I just wanted to be sure. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it could be real.
Fair point. I mean, unless they were able to, show their power or what have you. If someone just came up to you and was all, yeah, so I'm gonna die and you're gonna become me. So let's go. It's probably gonna be not really all that believable. I think I have 20. Whoa, I have 50. I'm rolling in the coins over here. Let me do this. Okay, well, that didn't do anything. I'm gonna heist 25. It's kind of rude. Your name is really Venus. I guess it's small talk. That whole mingling thing, I guess.
Are you really okay with all this? You know what's gonna happen, right?
I saw a lot of people in crisis at the shelter. I knew something was wrong with Lady Aphrodite. She's in so much pain, Grace. She won't let you see how much. Eros called me one night desperate. She wouldn't stop screaming. She didn't know where she was. She's a good person, Grace. A good soul. She deserves mercy.
How do you know Aphrodite exactly?
So I was working at this homeless shelter, right? A couple of years ago, and she came in with one of the older residents. And she was there in this, amazing dress. And she's sitting with this guy and really listening to him. Like they were old friends or something. I just thought, what is someone like her doing in a place like this? So, I just went over and introduced myself.
That's it? Just like that.
High five,
Yeah.
Bushcat.
She came back to the shelter a few times, but by then, I guess she'd taken an interest in me instead.
Your name's really Venus, huh?
Everybody asks me that, even the other idols. Maybe that's why Lady Aphrodite noticed me in the first place. She says it was fated to be. I say it's because my mama was a diehard hippie.
You probably need to get ready. I shouldn't keep you.
No, this is Lady Aphrodite's big night, not mine.
It'll be yours later, won't it?
Yeah, I guess it will.
I wonder how long it takes between for the veil to lift. Guess let's talk to Apollo one more time.
Back again.
I don't think I'll have a chance to talk to Aphrodite. Not before, you know.
Not surprising. Surely Persephone must have realized that.
How? She's never been to one of these things. Anyway, I'm not sure what I'd do now.
You have two choices, Grace. Either you do as she asks and sing her to her rest,
At which point Venus won't have Aphrodite's memories yet.
or you somehow convince her to remain with us and hope she's grateful.
And doesn't regret it. Or get angry at me for ruining her party.
Do what you feel is right. It's a risk either way.
Have you spoken with Venus? She seems really...
Nice, earnest, a genuinely good person.
Have a good lurk.
Yeah, I
Mishka.
suppose.
It's not an accident. Ever since the war, Aphrodite
Thank
has
you
sought
for
out
being
the
here.
kindest, the most innocent souls to be her successors. She chooses them because she believes that over time, it might make her a better person. A more worthy person.
Wouldn't it be better if she chose people who were, I don't know, more resilient?
I suppose that depends on your definition of strength, Grace.
I should get back out there.
Okay, here we go. I suppose I should sit up for this. Ugh.
I have tried so hard, fought for so long, but in the end, I must bid you all farewell once again. But before I go, I would like us all to remember the sacrifices that brought us here to this strange new world. This time, it is with the help of our lovely muse that we shall be guided. We let them rise. We let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. Since the beginning we were hidden. We held court from up above. 'Twas the golden age of reason, and I the queen of love. But a plague of hate was spreading, and there were vultures standing by. Before we fell to our knees begging, we fell from the sky. We let them rise, we let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. We sought shelter from the shadows, but were soon ripped from the dark. Those mortal souls that ended us were jealous from the start. They hunted me for power to fuel their psychopathic cause. And once they fell before me and worshipped all I was, They chased me down and threw me in a cage, held me prisoner for so long. I thought I'd win their hearts again. I was wrong. I was wrong. Oh, the power of the idols pounds within your chest. But for now I am in mourning for a love gone unexpressed. He was harder than the chisel. I was a horrid block of ice. A winter's chill that stayed until he made his sacrifice. The man that I ignored saved me when I fell. Yes, the husband I abhorred rescued me from hell. I thought it was a joke when it was said to me. He struck a deal with our enemy's enemy, made a secret weapon so my captors let me go. He gave up his freedom, leaving just a memory, and this love I'll never know is what he gave to me.
I can't believe what I'm hearing today. If your story stops there, I've nothing to say. I can't imagine. I feel like a child who grew up too fast. The goddess of love can't get past the past. What good is a flame when everything's ash? I can't imagine.
There's no excuse, but mortals can tell.
You know,
There's no sweet release, it's ongoing.
you know, you know.
Everyone's here to bid me farewell. Can you imagine
I can imagine.
this really happened? I can't forgive the river's too deep. Its reflection won't lie, so just let me sleep. I can't let go of what could have been.
Lost in a moment, lost in a song. Lost in a moment, lost in a song. Lost in a moment.
Mother, I've stood by your side, now I no longer see the purpose of love when it tears at the center of me. My arrows are rusty, forget the bow, and I won't be begging you not to go. But when you're away, you leave us a broken home. And you leave me alone, lost in a moment, lost in a song.
Aphrodite returns, she'll never forget. Finally we'll be free, lost in a moment, lost in a soul. Lost in a moment, lost in a soul. Lost in a moment. Lost in a moment. Lost in a moment.
Mother, is it true? You've chosen to.
Live. I have chosen to live. I'm so sorry, Venus. I made you so many promises, dearest, and I won't be able to keep them.
My lady, all I ever wanted was for you to be happy. If this is your wish, I'll be with you at every step.
I as well. Always.
I hope none of us regret this choice in the days to come. But thank you.
Phew.
It has to be better than doing the same thing over and over.
Does it? It could also be far worse.
Don't talk like that, Mother. We can fight this.
I'm so very tired, my loves, but I will. I'll try. Now then, Grace. You needed my help. No doubt regarding Calliope's death. Have you any suspicions as to who might be responsible?
I hope this doesn't bite me in the butt later. So, I've narrowed down the list, sort of. It appears that Calliope had gone to the reliquary, where there is the Minotaur, Asterion, Hecate, and apparently Medusa was also there. But Calliope went to the reliquary, and it seems like that's where she got stabbed. Or wounded. I don't know if she was stabbed. And it seemed like Medusa and the Minotaur were chasing Calliope afterwards. Because the Minotaur, Asterion, was trying to find out what happened. And he saw that Medusa was also chasing Calliope, I think. So we know at least that it happened at the reliquary. We don't know that it was Medusa, so I'm not going to just outright and say that. So I'll say I've narrowed down the list. Plus, this has my clever trait icon.
Nobody definite, no, but I've narrowed the list of who it could be.
Oh, how's that?
For one, it had to be someone who had access to the reliquary. 2, it had to be someone who could do it right under the noses of Hecate and the Minotaur. Medusa was there, but I'm not sure she got inside. And are either of those things true for her?
Calliope came to see us that night. She was agitated, frightened even, but she wouldn't explain why.
She said she had a plan. That must have been the reliquary.
A plan? A plan for what? What could she find at the reliquary that would help her?
Maybe she wanted a weapon. Something to defend herself with.
But she got inside and didn't take anything.
How odd. Hecate must be beside herself with annoyance. I'm afraid I can't offer much help, Grace. Few have access to the reliquary. I certainly do not, and I don't know who does. If Medusa was there, I'd ask her why and how. There are always motives lurking within her motives.
Come now, Mother. It's time you rested. It's been a long night.
If I don't, I suppose you'll both gang up on me again. Very well.
So, did they have anything helpful? Medusa. That's a rather dark name to unearth. Are you thinking of seeking her out?
I have to. How else will I find out what she knows?
You need to be careful, Grace. Medusa is not to be toyed with. Athena employs her as a spy master, a hound to do her bidding, a vicious hound at that. Athena's not likely to tell either of us where to find Medusa. I can't say for certain who would know. Are you all right, Grace? You seem troubled.
I am wondering what I'll start to remember.
What you said earlier about Calliope's memories coming back.
That wasn't how I wanted you to find out. I'm sorry. If I might suggest, speak with Persephone about it when you get a chance. It might be good for you.
You think she could help? Persephone?
Persephone and I have our problems, but I can't deny she is insightful. She'll surprise you.
I might do that. Thanks.
I don't know if you can hear that kid outside.
So, I have a question.
But
I had an encounter with Pan before the gathering, and he spoke of you fondly. Am I correct in believing there's something there?
No.
I doubt it. Last time we spoke, it didn't go well.
It's none of my business, but
Okay.
no matter what
Thanks.
I've said of Pan,
Thanks, Katri.
his feelings run deep.
Oh,
Don't underestimate him, but also don't write him off. Not yet, anyhow. Give my regards to Persephone when you see her.
Just the kid that's outside is like a baby. And so baby is just like squealing and stuff.
Apollo, always so dramatic. And well done, by the way. You may be the very first person ever to talk sense into Aphrodite.
still don't know if I did the right thing.
Well, it was never up to you, Grace. The choice has always been Aphrodite's. Look at it this way. At least she has a chance now. And whether she uses it, we'll see. I remember the last time I passed on my Eidolon. 1952. I was married to...
1952.
Well, I'd say you'd call him a gangster. More of a thug. A mean, vicious little thug. Persephone saved me from him. Tore his head clean off. But not before he fired a shotgun into her chest. My chest? Whatever.
That's interesting.
Do you remember who you were before?
I still am her. Chastity, that is. You can see why I switched names. I remember being disgusted I was ever that weak. Persephone made me strong. But it never really goes away. We all have our sordid history, our personal horrors, building up like sediment around our souls. You can't let it bury you, Grace. You are the only one who can keep your head afloat.
Art seems good.
You're incredible. You know that?
There's no need to be facetious, Grace.
No, really.
And what of Pan? Is he also incredible?
Why would you ask me that?
You are not as difficult to read as you believe, Grace.
I like Persephone more because she's just straight up herself, and Pan just seems kind of schemy. So that's kind of tricky, I think.
What he is incredibly frustrating and nothing at all like you.
I am incredible. It's true. It's good that you recognize this.
Okay, I take it back.
Oh, you can't take it back, Grace. I would have thought you'd learned that by now.
After centuries of cruel injustice, everybody working against me, every idol but for one, violent with apathy. We couldn't reach a resolution, but you and I, I'm queen of the underworld, and you praise you. Something seems familiar about you. Have we met some lifetime ago? Gods like me don't have too much to hope for. The rules been fixed throughout the ages, so I have forged a daring path. I would like to make some changes. You see, we can win a revolution, you and I. I'm queen of the underworld, and you, Grace, you.
Dang it.
You sure seem to think a lot of my loyalty. When we met, you weren't very keen on me. Now you're suggesting we have mutual enemies. What's changed? You've got one big mouth on you, don't you? Yet it's me who's closing in. Think I like that mouth on you, won't you?
You've overstayed your welcome. Time to go home. Get out of here, Grace.
Phew. Okay. GG on the noms. Brian, hi. Hope you're doing well. And thank you for lurking for the night. Yeah, things are going all right over here. But yeah, take care. Have a great evening. I hope that things are going well in your time zone. Alright, seems like it's time to go to Medusa. I suppose I could try to go back and talk to Persephone, but... thank you for the shout. You are very welcome. Absolutely. Alright, let's go see... Actually, really quickly. Looks like some of this is filled out. I wish it would kind of do a little thing when there was an update to one of the other characters. Venus. I met the person who's supposed to become the new Aphrodite. Her name's Venus, and she seems really sweet. Aphrodite has been preparing her for months. Must be nice. And she seems to know what she's getting into. But does that make it okay? In the end, I inspired Aphrodite to keep trying to stay alive. Still not sure how. I hope it was the right thing to do, and I hope that Venus can forgive me for taking this opportunity away from her. If that's the way she even saw it. Something tells me she's okay with it, and she'll be there to help Aphrodite get through whatever comes next. Oh, there's Medusa. We have not even met her in person yet. But it looks like we're going to, and it looks like that's her character. Now this is interesting. According to Asterion, Medusa was at the reliquary the night Calliope died, and that's where Calliope got attacked. He says Medusa was out there in the mists and never got inside at all. But what was she doing there in the first place? The reliquary is not someplace you just wander past by accident. Asterion said Medusa's pretty scary. Maybe she's the culprit we're looking for? Talking to Aphrodite and Eros after the party, they more or less corroborated part of what Asterion told me. Calliope went to the reliquary that night. She knew something big was going down, and she was really frightened. They also agreed Medusa, if anyone, would know more. So I guess she's next on my list. Minotaur. Get this. The Asterion who Pan sent me to is none other than the Minotaur. That's right, half man, half bull. But not really the monster all the stories talk about. Actually, I take that back. He's not a monster at all. He's an adorable, awkward, stuttering pile of man pudding who's hopelessly in love with Hecate. And he's desperate for my help to hook them up. It wasn't all that hard, honestly. I think Hecate was lonely too, and in the end she seemed happy to accept Asterion's hand once she was assured his love for her was real. And it is, I think. It really is. The two of them are ridiculously cute and weird together. Hecate. I'm gonna go close the window 1 second. Even if you can't hear it, it's kind of distracting to me. Let's see. Pan said that Hecate, goddess of black magic, might be of help in my search. And he was wrong. Very wrong. What he didn't say was why. She's the giant librarian witch goddess sworn to secrecy about anything related to her extra-dimensional tower fortress thing. Sound weird? That's because it is. And she is. But she's also kind of earnest and cool, too. She knows the future, but will do whatever is supposed to happen because it's supposed to happen. I'll never wrap my head around that. Gosh. She wasn't going to break her oath to Athena. At any rate, she wasn't going to break her oath to Athena at any rate. So I had to go along with Asterian's crazy plan to woo her with a song. I'll admit, I'm still surprised she went along with it. My power doesn't make anyone do anything they don't want to. So I guess deep down she wanted love as much as Asterian did. I suppose her book tells her how their relationship turns out in the end, but it doesn't look like it matters to her much. I hope this means she can be happy, at least for a while. Arrows. I read some of this. I don't think I read this one. I met Eros later on at Aphrodite's party, and suddenly his dark mood made sense. It seems that he's Aphrodite's constant caretaker. He's watched her throw these parties and die over and over. And I think he's finally reached his limit. He can't stand Aphrodite's pain, but I think he doesn't know what to do about it. He's hoping I can convince her to stop, which is a tall order for sure, and I don't know that it would actually make her better. Apollo said that he thinks Eros has stayed with Aphrodite all this time because he feels like he owes her. Once upon a time, it was Eros who was the eternal disaster. Apollo's words. And she was the caregiver. So now he must return the favor no matter how it hurts his soul. I think Apollo's probably right. In the end, I did what Eros asked. I convinced Aphrodite to hold on, to keep fighting. You should have seen him when she said she'd try. I thought he was going to collapse into tears right on the spot. I hope I did the right thing. Neither Apollo nor Persephone seems to consider Pan much of a suspect. He's not a murderer according to them, even though his sudden involvement is really suspicious. I went out to see Pan in his natural habitat this time, which, it turns out, is a giant garden on the roof of a magic office building. Go figure. Anyhow, he's calling in the favor I owe him and sending me to some place called the Reliquary, which I get to by using a magic key and finding a shipping container at the docks to fix an idol's love life. Weird, but okay. I guess I assumed Pan's favors would involve, I don't know, mysterious things, illegal things. There has to be more to this. Interesting. Or, this is interesting. I thought Apollo and Persephone had kind of dismissed Pan being a suspect when we were all together. But now Persephone has second thoughts. She thinks he's a schemer, and his sudden appearance was too convenient. So he's back on the list of suspects, I guess. So, Freddy and I went to the Reliquary to do Pan's little favor. And wouldn't you know it, that's where Calliope was attacked. That's where she was before she went to my apartment. That's quite the coincidence, isn't it? After Aphrodite's party, Apollo said something odd about Pan. He seemed to almost approve of the two of us. If that is, there's something to actually approve of. If that is, there's something to actually approve of. I honestly can't tell. I guess Aphrodite is throwing some kind of party. Persephone thinks I should go, since Aphrodite knows everyone who's anyone and might be able to help me. She's been being kind of vague about what the party is about, though. Should I be worried? Eros told me all about what happened. Eros told me all about what Aphrodite went through during the war. How she was kidnapped by the enemy, how she was freed by her husband Hephaestus, who she never got to thank or say goodbye to. She's riddled with so much guilt and trauma, and she can't escape any of it. As soon as her memories return, she's in constant agony, even if she hides it pretty well. Even so, he doesn't think what she's doing is the right answer to her problems. It certainly hasn't helped so far. I told Eros that I'd try to persuade Aphrodite to hold on. Who knows, maybe it's not even possible. I have to try, because what she's been doing to cope, this clearly isn't the answer. Apollo said something about Aphrodite which has stuck with me. He says she chooses successors who are kind, generous people because she thinks that, in time, that will make her a better person. In the end, I inspired Aphrodite to continue living. She's going to hold on and keep trying. I hope I didn't offend her too much during the song, but I had to do it. She's so regal and amazing. If anyone can do it, she can. I think that's good for now. Let's go see Medusa.
This must be the Viper's Nest. Scariest part of town, no sign. Just that one dude glaring at everyone. Well, I'm here now. Just another day in the life of an idol.
Oh, there you are. Man, this place is the worst. I think someone peed on me.
Freddy? What are you doing here?
What, you thought I wouldn't notice you skulking off? You didn't even bring any equipment, Grace.
Is that a mace? She brought a mace and spray paint? Oh, that's ridiculous.
Freddy, please tell me you don't think you're some kind of adventurer.
I'm sorry. Are you not about to head into a monster's lair at great personal peril? What else would you call that?
You're such a dork. I adore you.
Ah, look at you. Two giggling school chums preparing to face the enemy together.
Oh, it's you.
It is me. How exciting, no?
Pan, what are you doing here?
I'm the one who told you about this place. You didn't expect my curiosity to get the better of me?
Why are you really here, Pan? The truth this time.
I need to have some dastardly ulterior motive other than to be of assistance. For shame, Grace.
You just don't get it, do you? The act is wearing real thin.
It's true. I am a bad man, and I spoke poorly.
And? That's it?
I'd hope even you, Freddy, could see that advice from an idol might be useful here.
I suppose.
If you have any advice, Pan, I'm all ears.
Well, I assume you know how Medusa became what she is.
She used to be human, right? And then Athena cursed her. Pretty unfairly, too.
Now, however, Athena hasn't the power to undo her own curse, or so she claims.
That's gotta suck.
Medusa isn't happy about it, no. Yet she survives because she must. As do we all.
I feel like this is kind of important to know.
Medusa is the one who turns people into stone just by looking at them, right?
People, yes. Idols, not so much. Or that's my assumption. I'll admit to not knowing if she's ever turned her gaze on one of us.
Great. Is there any way to make someone not a statue, if it turns out she can?
Short of Medusa dying? No. Not unless she wishes it.
I swear if she turns Freddy to stone, I'm gonna be super upset.
Apollo said she's some kind of spy master for Athena. Is that right?
A truer description, I'd say, is that she's more Athena's servant. Poor thing can't survive on her own. So she's become whatever Athena needs. Spy master, enforcer, provider of garden statuary.
That doesn't sound fair.
It isn't. But keep in mind, Medusa is no helpless maiden. She is as clever as she is dangerous. And Athena knows it.
Medusa's clever and works for Athena, but what's she really like?
She doesn't exactly come to the parties, Grace. Medusa is an enigma to most of us. If idols hide in the shadows, she lurks in even darker places.
Nice job, Katrina.
She's
2
an
out of 3.
outsider, and she loathes us as much as she needs us.
Is she dangerous?
Let's just say we're all rather relieved she stays away.
Okay, enough talking. Time to do this.
See, that's the spirit. Now there's simply the matter of getting you in before she's aware you're here.
You're gonna help her do that?
Why not? You're more apt to become a statue than to be any true help, my dear.
Knock it off, both of you. I have a plan for getting inside.
A word of advice before we proceed. Once you find Medusa, make the number a knockout.
You're not usually lucky. 2 out of 3. You doubled your coins. That's not bad. If there was another entrance, there would be an enforcer. I don't know. Let's try it though, just in case.
Did you really have to follow us up here? You grunted the entire climb.
Those were exertions. I am a hardy but delicate flower.
Huh. Just the kind of help we needed.
Neither of you are helping. I have to concentrate to pick this open.
Are you sure it's wise to go jumping in through a skylight, Grace? It's rather dramatic.
I could have rolled in guns blazing, maybe tossed a few grenades while I'm at it.
Magnificent. Do you have any of these things?
She's joking.
I'm very joking. And there we go. Coming?
Absolutely. This is the fun
Freddy
part.
has a mace though.
Maybe let's split up and look around.
Mace is blazing. Also, did I suggest that we split up? That's a bad idea.
What a long day, hiding in the light. Such a long day, get your drink, girl, and take your seat. It's the Muse. There are sacred bites, and then there's this sacred bite. So wrong, so right. I'm really gonna hate myself tonight.
Medusa, listen, stop, I'm warning you. This is something you don't wanna do.
Tell me more about me, look at you. A prime sashimi with opinions too.
Medusa, listen, I'm warning you.
Yes, keep on warning
There's no
me.
rewinding, it's something you can't undo. Can't undo.
It's kind of the point, lovely. Now look into me. Your body goes freely every time as it tenders, turning gently as it renders. What'd you say, Grace? You okay, Grace? Where's the game face this time? You are currently experiencing something I like to call the preparation. Any questions or comments? That's right, it is widely known that I can turn folks to stone. But oh, I won't this time. Because this time I find dine that the oozy musy bloods my wine this time. Look into me. Oh, she's looking away. Hey, look
You flipped that hood.
me.
Then out came the snakes. You're so good. Finally, some steaks. Oh, the ice thing. What a difference an actual monster makes. You and Athena. Here's the thing I don't get. Are you her spy, some sort of PI, or more like her pet? Am I hurting the mood when I mention her name?
The fact that she'd hate that you're on my plate only makes me more game. Look into.
Listen, Medusa, please. Athena hides you, she's ashamed of you. But she profits all the same from you. If she'd done that to me, I'd be like you.
You could never.
If I'd been damaged in a way that you can't undo.
You're not a killer.
I know. Wait. So you know that it's true that I didn't do it.
No.
Yes, you do know. You know. Does that mean Athena knows?
No. Okay. It's dinner time now. You're not gonna look. Fine, Grace.
Don't you see, Medusa? You are just her tool. Your queen's a user. Your Athena's feet will be slightly tougher. She's a friend to me. We can get you free.
You said to me,
Persephone can get you free.
so free.
Is that a yes?
That's a maybe.
Maybe what?
They must be hypnotized by your amazing butchness.
Must be, I guess.
Are they serious?
That depends. What do you think, Medusa? Will you help me out?
Oh, fine. Fine. What exactly is it that you want, pretty muse?
Phew, okay. I had to snooze ads in the middle of the song. But I did get a notification that ads are going to be starting in a little bit, so let's go ahead and go on a short break, and then we'll, did you try to eat Calliope too? What? Okay. We will come back to this in a little bit. Todd, wow. Just wow. All right, we are back. Thank you everybody who stuck through the ads. Hopefully there were some good ones. And not like the ones that I usually get sometimes, which are questionable. Welcome back. Welcome back to you, Katri. Just checking out to see where my peeps are. They're still over there. So it looks like I have a little bit of time still. But why? Okay, there. I feel like the microphone was muted that entire time just now, so welcome back, Katri. Because I toggled my mic during the break to just gape at Todd stopping in and just dropping 500,000 and tripling it. Oh, you could hear me. The symbol was just there. Odd. Odd. You heard me? Okay. Well then good. But yeah, Todd just waltzing on in, dropping 500 large ones. It's ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, I have a little bit of time still. But I probably won't go too much longer. But we'll see. So yeah, this is definitely kind of back to your lurk. Absolutely.
You can start by telling me whether you tried to eat Calliope like you just tried to eat me.
Blast! This is why I didn't tell Lady Athena. I knew it would come back to haunt me. I only followed pretty Calliope to the reliquary. I never spoke to her, never even caught up to her. I swear it.
That's what Asterion told us, more or less.
But you were there that night.
Yes, I admit it. Ugh, Lady Athena will have my head. She'll mount it on a pike. Whatever you might think of me, I had no part in the Muse's death. I did not even know she'd been attacked until I saw her fleeing.
You followed Calliope to the reliquary. Why were you shadowing her at all?
I am Lady Athena's spy master, yes. Calliope has been trouble from time to time.
So you were spying on her?
I keep watch over every idol who no longer lives in Olympus, but especially Calliope. When I realized she was headed to the reliquary that eve, I followed. I had a duty to Athena.
Did you ever find out why Calliope went there?
I was never close enough to ask. When I drew near to the reliquary, that is when I saw the Muse fleeing. She was frightened, bloodied, dying.
A tasty snack for you to hunt down.
I gave chase, yes, but to discover the truth. I knew Lady Athena would wish to know.
That does make sense from your perspective.
I didn't learn the truth until later. And then it was far too late.
Asterion said he caught up with you out in the fog. Is that right?
I thought he was the one who had attacked her. He is a great beast of a creature.
Oh, that seems rather unlikely. The bull's as gentle as a lamb.
Yeah, pretty much that.
Yes, I had only realized my mistake once I caught up to him, and by then the Muse was gone.
And you never found her afterwards?
I thought she might flee to her pretty home, or to the sharp and prickly Persephone. She did neither.
Yeah, she came to see me. You haven't told Athena any of this? You agreed to help, remember?
I told her Calliope was at the reliquary that night. I did not tell her I was also there.
Why not? Wouldn't Athena find out from Hecate anyway?
I was not thinking clearly. I panicked. Lady Athena barely tolerates my presence as it is. If she thought I was involved in any way, if she even suspected...
Why should we believe you? You did just try to eat me, remember?
I agreed to help you. I speak the truth.
Right, and not at all trying to cover your own ass.
You presented an opportunity. Oh, to taste the sweet, sweet blood of a hero once again.
What?
It's a problem. I've been working on it, I really have.
Oh, Medusa.
Well, what of you? The only reason I knew Calliope was going to the reliquary is because you informed me.
Well,
Speaking of covering one's ass,
it is true. But Grace, I can explain.
I'll bet you can. Let's
He
put a pin in
always
that for the
can,
moment,
though.
shall we?
I am a monster. It's true. I do not deny it. It's still, I did not kill the muse.
Okay, let's say we believe you. For the moment.
I've told you everything I know. We have a bargain. You said my curse might be lifted.
Hey, I'll ask Persephone. That's all I can do.
Whatever you do, pretty muse, I beg you. Do not tell Athena of my indiscretion. Show mercy. I know what I am horrifies you. It horrifies me as well. I cannot help what I am. I did not ask to be cursed like this.
Whether I tell Athena depends. Have you done this before?
Medusa, what happened to Artemis?
She left? I am a lost and cursed thing. No idol. If Lady Athena should learn the truth, I hope you find what you seek, pretty muse. And that we meet again someday. And sing a different song.
Okay, so that was fun. Grace, I'll meet you back at home.
Now, before you say anything...
You knew. Right from the start, you knew Calliope was there that night.
Well, yes. She asked for the key and I gave it to her, no questions asked. I never lied to you, Grace. I said I didn't know what became of Calliope at the reliquary, and I didn't. But I wanted to, so I nudged you in the right direction.
Why? Is there some reason you need to know what happened to Calliope?
Is that so strange? Don't we all desire justice?
You sent me to the reliquary because you wanted justice.
I am trying to help, Grace. In my way.
What do you mean, in my way? What way is that?
The way where I don't take all the blame.
What else will I discover, Pan? I'd rather learn it now than later.
I wish I could tell you, Grace. I truly do.
I'm gonna talk to Persephone because I told Medusa I would. And then I'll go home.
Back again so soon, Grace? You're practically a regular at the club. Did you end up finding Medusa? Or did she vanish the moment you came near like she does with every other idol?
She definitely did not vanish. Maybe I better explain what happened.
I knew it. We never should have brought that monster to the New World. Athena is a fool to think Medusa can be controlled. You're fortunate to have made it out in one piece. It could have gone very poorly for you.
I know, but let's focus on the important part of the story.
Which is that if you believe what she says, Medusa appears to be exonerated.
And that brings us back to Pan.
I don't imagine you've confronted him yet.
He admitted to selling out Calliope, but not to killing her. I don't know if I can believe him.
Nor I. Pan would do anything to save his own skin. Allow me some time to consider our next move. On a different matter, I've had time to do some thinking. After Aphrodite's party, we never really spoke about the Eidolon and Calliope's memories. No doubt you have many questions.
Apollo told me a little about it. He did say I should talk to you, though.
Did he now? Is there anything you'd like to ask?
Yes, there is.
How many times have you died? Can I ask that?
We call it passing on. I've lost track of just how many times I've passed on my Eidolon. A dozen? It's happened less often in more recent eras.
And the one you told me about, the woman married to that gangster, she was the most recent?
I don't think of Chastity as a she. That was me, just as the one my husband blasted with a shotgun was also me. It was one of the few times I wasn't able to prepare my successor. We were friends, yes, but I didn't know what Persephone was, and I had no idea what I'd just become.
That must have been difficult.
It was more difficult taking over my dead husband's territory. Women weren't often mobsters in those days.
Were you really a gangster? I've heard it said, but it sounds...
Let me put it this way. I felt as if I'd been blessed by a dying woman who saved me from a prison of my own making. I didn't know what I was, but I was free. I felt more alive than I'd ever felt before, and strong enough to toss an ox 10 feet. Did I set out to become a mobster? Not exactly. My husband's friends thought I'd murdered him, however, so they came after me. And one thing led to another.
Oh, I see.
Athena found me just as my memories were starting to return. I wasn't permitted to continue doing something so noticeable, so I was carted off to Olympus. It's too bad, really. I was an excellent mobster.
Also, I wonder how hard it is to throw an ox 10 feet. Like a baby ox.
Wait, you said that Persephone passed on her Eidolon as she lay dying. What if she had just died?
The Eidolon will keep us alive for a time, even in the most horrific circumstances, in hopes that there's someone to pass it on to.
What if there isn't? What if Chastity had died before you were shot?
Well, then the line of Persephone would have ended then and there. Oh, there are some stories that say an Eidolon will go wandering, that it never really dies. And who knows if there's any truth to that. It's not exactly something we've had the opportunity to study. All we know is that many idols have left us forever. They've died, and that's how it happens.
When all these memories start to return, will I feel different?
First, you'll have dreams. Places you've never been, people you've never met. But unlike with normal dreams, these will linger. Then they will come while you're awake. Sudden flashes or snippets of déjà vu. And sometimes it will seem so real you'll swear you're hallucinating. If there's anything difficult about the process, is that it becomes hard to differentiate between your life and all these other lives you're now recalling.
It does sound confusing.
Confusing and often unpleasant, as not all the memories will be fond ones. But that will pass in time.
You said it becomes hard to differentiate your life from the others. How hard, exactly? It'll still be me, right?
Oh, how do I explain this? Grace, would you say that you are who you are because of your experiences? The things you've lived and done?
I guess so, sure.
Well, all the things Calliope has done, and those before her, will now be yours. They will feel like a part of your life as well. Thus, they can't help but shape you. The Grace that is now will be and will have done so much more. Fortunately, you don't have to deal with every memory. Each time the Eidolon passes on, the oldest memories fade, and that helps.
But that doesn't seem to have worked for Aphrodite.
Wait, how is it good that old memories start to fade?
Think of how old we are, Grace. If all those memories returned to you with perfect clarity, they would destroy you.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean you've all forgotten so much?
Well, far more than we remember. The further I think back, the more it becomes a bit of a blur, actually. You'll recall important moments. Some will be mixed up with the stories mortals tell, and you won't be sure which is the memory and which is the story. An idol's memory is a series of islands in a dark ocean, and they become smaller and smaller as they recede into the horizon. It sounds dire, but you become accustomed to it. It just takes time, and now you have all the time in the world.
It's a lot to consider, assuming I'll even have time to worry about it, what with the trial coming.
Either the trial will end poorly, in which case all of this is moot, or it will end well, and you will have plenty of time to digest.
Yeah, thanks for the update.
I'm a realist, Grace. It's what I'm best at. Now then, unless you've something else to ask.
I'd like to know a little more about the idols. I am one now, right?
What constitutes a little more in this instance?
Well, what are we? Where did we come from? If an idol is a soul that moves from person to person, it must have started somewhere, right?
The big question. To which the answer is, nobody knows. I remember the original Persephone only vaguely. Indeed, I'm not even certain she was the original. I mean, was there something before her? How did she get her Eidolon? I couldn't tell you. Evidently, we wrote little down in those early days, or were forbidden to, and our memories only stretch back so far. Anything beyond that simply isn't.
Psst. Isn't it strange to not know where you come from? For all you know, the idols could be aliens.
Aliens? Grace, you watch too many movies.
Gods are okay, but aliens are just wacky fiction.
Fine, yes. It is strange. You know, our earliest days aren't the only blanks in our memories, however. We have many. And the last was the day Zeus called us all together to tell us Rome had fallen and we should prepare for war. But did that war occur? I couldn't tell you. The last thing I remember after Rome was 1,000 years later, in the 16th century. I was in a different body, feeling as if no time at all had passed. Athena calls that period the gap. And that's what it feels like. All of us experienced it, and not one of us knows why or how.
The gap you mentioned. What was that like? Did you just wake up one day, or...?
I wasn't asleep. I lived. I had lives. I passed on my Eidolon. I may have known who I was and what I was, but perhaps I was completely unaware. All I know is that one day, Athena came to my nunnery, near Trieste, I think. The moment that I saw her, all the old memories came flooding back. My life during the gap was wiped away in an instant, and it never returned. If someone did that to us, they were powerful indeed.
What about Athena? I mean, she's the one who found you, right? She must have been aware.
Athena woke up on her own, or so she claims, and spent the next century rounding up those idols who remained. Zeus, however, was gone. What became of him, what happened in Rome, we've never pieced it together. It's troubling.
Mad Jester, how are you doing? Thanks for stopping in. And how did your show go? If it's happened already. Hopefully it went well.
Tell me more about Calliope. You and her were good friends, right?
We were.
And
if you had told me a decade ago that I would become close to one of the muses, I would have laughed in your face. I always considered them Apollo's creatures. Calliope, Cleo, and Talia. Vapid, frivolous gods who handed off their eidolon to any artist who took their fancy. Every time I met one of them, they were someone else. I mean, Apollo called them the Sisters of Beauty, no matter their gender. Can you imagine that? That's such a stupid name.
I never thought of that. Do idols change gender a lot?
Well, we tend to seek out successors like ourselves, but it happens. With the muses, it happened frequently. Everywhere Apollo went, they surrounded him like a gaggle of ducklings, just like him to gather his own fans.
Gaggle of ducklings.
If you disliked the muses so much, how did you end up becoming friends with Calliope?
She sought me out. She'd become more and more unhappy on Olympus, so she decided to leave just as I had, long before. Calliope asked for my help, and I laughed in her face. Go ask one of your sycophant mortals, I told her. I mean, surely one of them has some threadbare couch you can sleep on.
Wow.
Typically, she was undeterred. She didn't just want a place to stay. She said she wanted to learn how to be truly independent from an idol who had mastered it. What can I say? I mean, I am a sucker for a well-timed compliment. I took her in. Apollo was furious. He and Calliope were barely speaking, but he was certain she'd come crawling back to Olympus. Oh, it made taking her in all the sweeter.
You just got back. It went pretty well. It went pretty well as slow as it was, but you enjoyed it. Met good people and saw some cool Cult of the Lamb cosplay. That's pretty cool. So was it a convention? I vaguely, let me see. Let me look back. You're vending your wares is what I just did a quick search on. So was it at I assume it was at some sort of convention? And you had a booth potentially? I don't know. I don't want to pry too much. So, definitely, obviously don't answer anything that you're not comfortable with. But yeah, I was just kind of curious as to what that was, and Cult of the Lamb cosplay sounds fun. It was a Comic-Con type con. Got it. I remember growing up going to Comic-Con in San Diego every year with my cousin for a good number of years. Haven't gone in a long time, especially since it's become so hard to get tickets to it anyway. But yeah, I can imagine. I always found them exhausting because, all the walking and everything, but I imagine that perhaps the booth experience, anime, sci-fi, fantasy con, at a convention hall. It was one state away. So there's travel, you got to bring all your stuff. You got to set up. You got to deal with people. Oh, the dealing with people part. That's the scary part for me. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad that it went well. That's outstanding.
Are you willing to talk about Hades? If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm just
incredibly curious how I ended up murdering my husband.
that, yeah.
You know, one might think that my hatred of Hades began when he kidnapped me and forced me to be his bride. But honestly, that wasn't it. I hated my brothers and sisters for letting it happen, but Hades himself terrified me. He had a presence. I mean, one that forever made him the most important man in the room. And me? Oh, I was nothing in comparison. When Hades began doting on me, trying to earn my favor, I swooned that he might deign to think of me that way. For centuries, I actually thought I was in love, that the kidnapping was the best thing that ever happened to me. It's funny how our perspectives change.
You're on the wrong coast to have gone to that one, but always wanted. It was supposed to be 5,000 people, but it was maybe 1,000. Oof. Todd, get out of here with that. You maniac. What in the heck? Even 1,000 people, that's still, clearly that's not San Diego Comic-Con with however many hundreds of thousand people. But, even still, 1,000 is, I don't know the size of the venue, but I imagine that it was still a good number of people. Yeah, it costs about $1,000 just to vend at it. Yes, it's exhausting actually, but you have a partner, apprentice, who does a lot of the selling, and you do a lot of the technical jargon and explanations. And it's still a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I imagine that getting to do something like that is a nice break from kind of the norm, so to speak. But also definitely work and trying in its own right as well.
If you got along with Hades for so long, what changed?
I did. I grew up. I was a trophy for Hades, a conquest that he expected to remain meek and unchanging forever. He went out of his way to keep me small. I slowly realized that, he'd always been that way. Manipulation and arrogance behind the handsome sneer. We battled for centuries. I hated him, and I told him so, but he refused to part with me. He declared that I was his and would stay in the underworld where I belonged.
And that's when you killed him?
That's when I killed him, yes. The first time one idol had ever murdered another. Thank you very much.
Can there be 2 Eidolons in one person?
I'm guessing the other idols weren't thrilled with you killing Hades.
Well, yeah, they didn't know what to do with me. And Athena was furious that the most powerful remaining idol had been lost. See, this was before the war and before all the new rules. The chorus had never once contemplated execution, but they certainly considered it then. In the end, they decided it was better to humiliate me. They ensured I did not benefit from Hades' murder and stripped the throne I had wrested from his grasp.
Which you weren't happy about.
I asked them where they were all those years while I pleaded for help. I was held captive, and what was I expected to do? What, lie down and take it forever because Hades was more useful to them alive? No. I stopped doing what was expected of me the day I slit his throat. May he rot in Tartarus with the Titans for all eternity.
Tell me more about the war. It seems to have had a huge effect on all of you.
That's putting it mildly.
From Aphrodite's song, I know Ares betrayed everyone. What did you do?
Honestly, after my mother was murdered, I barely remember.
Your mother?
Her name was Demeter. Not truly my mother, but an idol who had always cared for me since the early days. I thought we'd be together forever. Then Ares brought those filthy bastards down on us. Demeter was slain by bullets. Until that day, I had believed we were untouchable.
I'm so sorry. That must have been hard to lose her like that.
I watched her fall, heard her scream. I would have run to her, but I was pulled away to safety. I don't know, by Hermes, I think. Whatever was left of the old Persephone, the innocent girl with the long hair who loved her gardens. She died with Demeter that day. After that, I don't know. We went from hiding place to hiding place. I didn't even know what Hephaestus had done for us when I found myself on a boat. We might have been gods once, but after the war, we were just refugees, like so many others, fleeing to a distant land.
Manchester, how have you been? You did catch a bit of Catri's stream, and you're glad you got to catch this one. Yeah, it's, I'm alright. I'm loving this game. This game is fantastic. We're getting a little bit of lore right now. But yeah, it's going well. And and yeah, so things are going well on this side.
After you took Calliope in, that's when you became friends?
Well, no, not right away. I wasn't looking for a friend. What I was looking for was an opening act in the club. Calliope entertained here for years, and then eventually turned from performing to attracting new acts. She was in her element. She and I, we warmed up to each other eventually. She was more capable than I expected, and I adored her furious rants.
Calliope didn't seem like the furious type when I met her. It's hard to picture.
Oh, then you didn't really meet her. She was an idealist, and nobody could ever quite live up to her standards for very long. Her brothers and sisters, least of all. The idols needed to change, she said. They were withering away in the shadows, diminished and unwilling to save their own skins. When I joined the chorus, she expected me to change everything, as if I could single-handedly override Athena. I was to be her champion, and together we would bring revolution to the idols. Well, I was yet another disappointment. She left the club, but I gave her a place to live. We were supposed to stay in touch, but you know how it went from there.
You love mythology. Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm not sure how much of this is traditionally accurate or if it's some liberties are taken for the story and such, but you know, it's a very interesting the way that it's being told. It's very interesting. Hey, Darrell, how are you doing, sir? Hope things are going well.
How did you go from ruling the underworld to opening a nightclub named after it?
I won it in a bet with Dionysus, god of merriment.
Okay, there has to be a story there.
Well, the story is that he was a fool, but a charming one with many patrons. They built him a nightclub as his personal playground. And it was a grand old time for Dionysus in the 1970s, I assure you, but he didn't know how to run a business. By the time disco was ready to die, so was his stupid club. So I offered to make it profitable. If I succeeded, he would turn ownership over to me. He accepted because, frankly, all he wanted to do was drink anyhow. I was successful. The club became mine, and I kicked Dionysus out for never paying his tab.
Sucks to be him.
Dionysus ever sobers up, he might decide to be sore about it, but so far, that hasn't happened.
You're doing good, just relaxing. Excellent. Hopefully this is a little bit relaxing for you. There's so much lore happening right now. Sheesh.
What's the deal between you and Apollo? The way you two fight.
I've told you how he and the other idols stood by and let me rot with Hades, did I not?
It seems more personal than that.
Okay, there's an old saying that no one escapes the underworld. But that's not true. I did. Once. Not long after Hades kidnapped me. I was homesick, and I missed my mother. Charon took pity on me and allowed me across the Styx. And after that, Grace, I waded through darkness itself to get out of there. Hades chased after me relentlessly, but I evaded him, right up until I got to the very slopes of Olympus. And who do you suppose was the first idol I met?
Uh-oh.
Apollo stood there. I cried out to him, begging him not to let Hades take me, and yet Apollo did as he has always done. Absolutely nothing. Hades was thrilled, and I knew then and there I could never rely on my so-called family for anything, ever again.
What happened to the other muses? You mentioned 2 others. Were they lost in the war?
One of them was, though not like you think. The day we were to leave on the ship, Talia simply never showed up.
Do you know what happened to her?
We never heard from her again. Apollo thrashed about in mourning, but, Talia had been fading away for years. It wasn't a surprise to the rest of us.
What about the other muse, Cleo?
Died long before. A victim at the hands of a mortal man, when she no longer possessed the power to bedazzle him. As I understand it, he kept her in a cage as a pet until her eidolon shriveled up and perished. He was dead before she was.
Ugh, that's pretty dark.
Yes, well, we come by our wariness of mortals honestly, Grace.
Was it hard for the idols to come to the new world? It's just a place like any other, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't the place that was hard, it was the fear. We knew we were vulnerable.
Todd, I swear to
mortals
God.
could and would kill us. Suddenly, there were rules. We had to be secret. We had to stay close together. We huddled in the shadows and quaked each time the mortals so much as breathed in our direction. We couldn't all live that way. Some of us drifted away, faded into the night without so much as an explanation. That's what's been the hard part. Our inevitable decline in a place where we don't belong. We can pass on our eidolons as often as we like, but it will never truly be home.
That's all I can think of for now. I'll see you around?
Oh yes, that's where I'll be. Around.
Okay, wife and kiddo are almost home, so I'm going to call it here. Also, before Todd just freaking takes all the coins. Just all of them. Ridiculous. But I'm glad I got a lot of that lore. So yeah, I'm gonna spin. How many panda coins do I have? Good. Nothing at all. All right. So, thank you very much, everybody, for stopping by. My bot is like, if user equals Todd, then win equals always true. Yep. I'm gonna have to revisit that code. Just kidding. It's Firebot. Firebot's gonna do what Firebot does. Apparently, Todd's bribed the devs. Thanks for the coin. Oh, you mean stream? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Well, thank you for robbing my bot. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. This game is fantastic. You know, between the singing, the voice acting, everything, it's outstanding. I know it got a little dry at the end, but it was a good dry, with all the, you know, all the lore and such. So, I do want to go ahead and head over to I want to raid Heki because I've raided Commerkle more recently than Heki. It's been a couple months since I've raided Heki, and Heki's on right now. But absolutely please, I know that everybody knows Commerkle, but please go see Commerkle. She's doing Red Dead right now. I have her up over there on my other computer. Please go see Commerkle. Give her some of your time. And if her vibe matches yours, which is impossible for it to not, almost impossible, definitely please consider dropping that follow. Yeah, so definitely raid Heki. I'll kick that off. But yeah, we're gonna go say hi to Heki. Heki's playing, I think, Fallout London. Yeah, so that shows Fallout 4, but it's the Fallout London mod, or not mod necessarily, but DLC, add-on, whatever it is. So that's what she's playing. I think she said that she's almost done with it. I'm not sure. But either way, you know, again, let's go in there. Let's, you know, we can do some of these. If you want different variations of that, definitely hit that as well. There's a few more. And we got a couple of these. Grab one of those if you are able. And let's go say hi to Heki. You're all fantastic. You're all worthy. You're all valid. You're all wonderful. Please take care of yourselves. Have great rest of your time zones. And looking forward to see everybody next time, which might be Wednesday. Everybody take care.